Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, September 7th. Hope you all had a wonderful Labor Day weekend. Looks like it could be a fun day, so let's get after it here. Right, first thing we want to make sure to take a look at, right, is the SPY. We're getting a really nice period of low volume consolidation here, kind of at this 450 area, right? We've kind of tried to break out, but it hasn't tried with much conviction, right? We've tried to break down under this 450, but it hasn't really wanted to climb there either. So now we kind of have a couple things that are being told to us, right? We are still struggling to break out above, say, this 454, right? We're not really getting above there. But nice low vol pullback right on Thursday, followed up by a actually higher volume than expected Friday, right? So Friday we were going to always kind of anticipate it being a slow day into a long weekend. And so it's a little bit surprising, right, to see that bullish engulfing volume. So we're going to be looking for continuation breakout moves over, say, this 454 area, right? Or if we get some kind of decent kind of rejections or breakdowns, right, we'll be looking for moves under this 450. You can make the argument that this is a little bit range bound and that you can maybe look to play kind of in either direction. But I just think you're probably going to have nicer setups than that, or maybe something cleaner. So we'll keep an eye on this, but my bias is going to be probably to the upside, right? Historically, we've had a lot of success in sort of that September to February, September to Christmas type period here, right? This can kind of be that time of year now where people are focused, ready to go, right? No real holidays kind of until Thanksgiving. So there's a lot of opportunity now for the market to really just move nicely and kind of move consistently. So that's kind of what we're hoping for. Today might be a little bit of a hangover day, right? Everyone's coming back from holiday. Okay, world is going back to normal. All these things. So maybe today's a little bit slower, but I'm anticipating that action to come back in this week. So QQQ, kind of the same story, right, as the SPY. Nice little low volume consolidation. Slightly lower volume candle bar, right? But we got an inside bar here. So still another little formal piece of consolidation, right? Another little piece of information there. We'll be looking for breakouts up and over, say, this 382. Again, same thing, like $4 range, but just a little bit maybe more indecision here, right? So bullish breakout, stack these two candles up, right? This 31st and this September 1st, right? That's one big doji. Follow that back up with a relatively low volume, but more bullish than bearish candle, and then a low volume inside bar, right? Full body. So nothing here is really ever telling us that same consistent story, right? Which is why it's it looks a bit more range bound than the SPY, right? At least with the SPY, it's easier to kind of potentially tell the story here a little bit, right? Failed breakdown, but buyers regain control, right? Here it just hasn't really happened yet, so it's a little bit more rangy, right? Failed breakout, it tends to give me a little bit more of a bias to the upside where they trap a few sellers and try to run it up type thing. Right, so let's see if this QQQ can give us that breakout over this 383 area. That would be what I'm looking for. This inside bar could be that extra catalyst, but want to make sure that volume comes in, right? We want to see volume increasing on a breakout and not decreasing, and that's going to be really important for us today. Right, Apple, really nice looking setup here. Low volume consolidation after a failed breakout above that 155 area. Inside bar on low volume on a low volume, expected low volume day. I mean, everything here kind of is behaving the way we expect, right? So today we're going to be looking for moves over that 155 zone. If we get moves over that 155, then I think we can get a little bit of follow through. Not going to want to fight the market on this though, right? If QQQ is selling off or if SPY's not strong, right? I'm not going to be super interested in this Apple, right? So we've had a couple attempts now. Maybe it's finally ready now. We're going to want to, again, make sure that volume looks the way kind of we want on this breakout. Right. Tesla might be my favorite setup here this morning on this kind of ascending wedge breakout with continuation over, say, this 743. Right. We got a couple clues here, right? One failed breakout, two failed breakouts, three failed breakouts, right? So they tried to push it back up, could not get it there, and always on low volume, right? Which is kind of maybe that warning sign to avoid it, right? At least it was then. So low volume candles, right? If we go candle arrows, we'd see that these are very much to the downside, right? So you would have thought that if there was so much selling pressure there, right, why weren't they able to break it down under, say, this 723, right, under that 725, right, and kind of get us that fill down towards that 715 area, right? So if bears were strong, right, that's what they would have done. So then Friday we kind of, like, I don't want to say validate, but reverse, right, these rejections a little bit with our own reversal candle, right? So green hammer, which I love because it's a formal showing that bulls have completely regained control, right, with a very, very limited top wick, and then increasing volume and bullish engulfing on volume, right? So we have a hammer candle, right, green hammer, that signifies visually like that buyer's in control, right, and then that volume steps up and confirms that exact same story and tells us bulls are in control with high volume. So two things are telling us the same story, right? Then we've got a pattern here still to play with at the 743, right? So if we get that breakout up and over, I think we can get some fall through down towards that 750, up towards that 750, right? Then that like 755 area. Get moves above that, you can start going to that 760 zone, maybe a little bit plus. So there's a lot of potential on a name like this, and I think this could be a lot of fun. We don't have, what we got to be aware of, I guess, here a little bit is we can be pretty ambitious with what strike price we want to play, right? So if we're going to play this week's calls, right, we can look at something like the 780s, right? You can probably even play the 800s if you want. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity to be flexible with our execution here. So we can be pretty patient and just wait for that perfect entry point for ourselves. So we're going to have a lot of fun with this, but yeah, all right, this is pretty close to up there for our top setup of the day. Right, Microsoft, we're going to go over this one pretty quickly, right? Still just consolidating at this 300 area. I think we need to kind of break down under this 300 and hold it before I want to go bearish. For now, I just want to let it consolidate. If we get that breakout up and over, say that 305.85, I'm happy to go. But for now, I'm going to let it consolidate until we lose 300 and are able to hold under. Right, so we got a few other interesting setups here, right? Looking for that continuation move here on the snow, for example. So apologies, can't see this very well. Right, really nice breakout, good volume. You'd like to see maybe a little bit more higher volume here, right? Consistently higher volume. I think that's the one little thing that kind of gives me a little bit of concern here. But I think it's a really nice pattern. If we get that breakout over that 315, then we can start to move up and we can start to find a little bit of joy. Here I'm starting to see too many rejections, right? So I'm just seeing a lot of downside wicks, seeing a lot of failures still in this zone. So I don't really want to chase those, right? Because there's evidence of a lot of rejections, right? There's evidence of a lot of kind of sellers there. I don't want to fight that evidence. I don't want to, I just want to assume the market's going to do something it hasn't done until it proves otherwise. So give me that fill over 315 and we can get going, right? PayPal, I think this is a really interesting setup too here, right? Held trend line. I mean, it's not super clean, but look, it looks to be holding for now. Right, couldn't get that continuation breakdown under, right? That's moral of the story. Now we're kind of getting a bull flag here a little bit. I just kind of drew it here so you can see a little bit nicer, but a little bit of a bull flag here. You can maybe even look at it like this way. That's going into a gap fill. So if we can get over this, say, 291.80, right? Or 292.80, sorry. We've got room towards that 294.30, right? 295, 297, maybe even get towards that 300 range. Right, so I just love how we're setting up a bullish pattern right into a gap fill. So gaps tend to fill with relatively limited resistance. So if we're setting that up with a pattern, right, you probably think that there's going to be a lot of volume stepping in that gap, or you might get a bit of an overreaction move, and you get that chance to hit that 300. So PayPal looks really interesting to me. If we can get that move, I want to be all over it. Right, Zoom. This is a bear flag, right? We're starting to get, it's a pretty big move here, right, into earnings. Post earnings, sorry. So big bear flag, right? Huge gap down. Maybe it wants to refill its gap and kind of reverse back in, but I'm not there yet. And these candles, they're not looking strong enough here, right? These bullish candles get decent volume, but they're not like full body, full strength candles. And so it's just not the same story yet. So bias remains to the downside, right, until we get a concrete piece of evidence of a reversal, right? So I'm looking for moves down under, say, this 288 still, right? I think that's kind of target number one, where we can kind of get towards that 276, 275 area if we can get that follow through. It's been consolidating, right? Low volume consolidation after a huge sell-off. Maybe that's a sign that, hey, bears are in control, or a sign that they're kind of reloading, right? That bears aren't in control, or that they're reloading. And I know that's kind of like giving you so many possibilities, right? That's why we need that extra little piece of information, right? So I don't want to jump in on this and go long on the assumption yet that bears are no longer in control, because this volume on this consolidation is low compared to this sell-off, right? I think that's really misleading. So what we want to do is, that's why we need that extra little piece of confirmation, right? So we've got two theses here essentially, right? Or like one and a half. One is that we're going to get that continuation move to the downside, right? And we have that bearish potential. Or that, okay, bears are weak, right? And we need, how can we get a confirmation that bears are weak? Well, it'd be like a full body above average candle, right? So that's kind of what we're looking for. A green candle, that is, right? So that's kind of what we're looking for. Don't have that here yet on the Zoom, right? So that's why it's 1.5 type of setups, and we're still only looking for bearish plays at the moment, right? Nvidia, really interesting looking setup here at this double top potentially, right? We need to get over this 231. I think that's going to be a really important level here. There's a couple things that are going for us. So inside bar, Bollinger Band breakout, right? 3 green soldiers pattern. So there's a lot of stuff in this run up, which then starting to look, this makes this look like a nice period of consolidation here, right? You could look at this as a relatively low volume pullback where it's breakout, and then every day since then has been below average volume, right? Follow that up on Friday with a relatively full body, maybe more of a normal body bullish candle, but bullish engulfing on volume, right? And bullish engulfing candle. So it tells us the same story. One sec, Jonathan, I'll go over that in a second. So if we can get that breakout, say, up and over, right, this 231, I think this could be a really interesting setup. So I'd like to see us get this kind of breakout up and over. And I'd be happy to take a stab if we can get over that 231. I love the increasing volume here on this candle. I think that gives us something really good. So let's take a crowd request trade here, or setup. It's UPST. So just give me a second here. Okay, to the upside, I'm not super interested. For me, I think, okay, this looks okay. Right, I think it looks okay, but these two candles, right, following this inside bar breakout, I think this was the play earlier, right? Your initial breakout, your initial entry would have been this like 231.40 trade, right, on this inside bar, right? Low vol pullback, inside bar. Now, since then, what I don't like about these candles is you're getting a lot of, like, you get that initial morning move, and then it, like, the weakness comes in, right? Or you get that kind of like, okay, maybe like September, like Thursday was a little bit nicer than Friday, but Friday was like, this is too much of a sell. Like, that's so much weakness for it to show that it'd be hard for me to want to be bullish here, to want to play this long. So what I would look for, right, is if you get this breakout, say on the 30 min, you want to get where it's at least engulfing, right, where that 30 min volume is bigger probably than this red volume here, right, where it kind of becomes a little bit bigger than that, or at least kind of creeps up, and you get that full body candle. But like, what becomes scary here, right, is it already faked out on that move. So you're just getting, like, there's too much signs of weakness here, that it's not sustaining these moves, right? And if it doesn't want to sustain those moves, it doesn't give me very much confidence that it's going to give you that follow through later on, right? So I'd maybe wait for this to give you that full body close, continuing on increasing volume, and then maybe you have a nice 3 green soldiers pattern. But for now, I think this is probably one that would be like a B+ up and coming versus one that I'd really want to be focusing on and trading today. I think there's a lot of stronger setups, like including something like that Nvidia that we just talked about, right? I think Tesla looks a little bit stronger than that. Apple looks stronger. So I think you can just watch this for later in the week and focus on something else. If you're still in a position like from this, say, 231 break, you're in good shape and you've got some potential. But I'd be a little bit careful wanting to play breakouts here because you're not getting that evidence of those breakouts sustaining. All right, so this is one, if the market goes red this morning, right? So we're looking at Visa for this inside bar breakdown continuation, right? So we have that inside bar September 1st, huge breakdown, right? September 2nd, then September 3rd, we've got that followed up with a nice inside bar, right? On relatively decent volume. That's gapping up a little bit here this morning, but I'm not interested in playing this to the upside, right? If we do, we're coming up into a lot of volume, right? Into a lot of selling pressure. I just don't think this is the path of least resistance, right? This is only one I want to play if the market goes red anyway, right? So if the markets go red, I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on this Visa, and we can get that breakdown under that 221.60, right? Pushing down towards that 220, 217, 215, 212, maybe 210 if the market wants to be dramatic. But that would be a pretty aggressive move. But like we still want to fight the trend here, right? So this is a sell-off here. Right, so sell off here, right? A little bit of consolidation, right? Inside bar tells us consolidation. So we just want to keep going down with this trend. If it breaks down, we'll keep going. If it doesn't, okay, so be it. On to the next one, right? mRNA, really, really nice, man, action here. Bouncing off trend line. Good inside bar, consolidation, breakout. Now we got that full body candle. So, Jonathan, if you're still in here, right? Like this is what you want to see from this UPST. Right, so you want to see that increasing volume, full body candle, right? So you want that volume and candle body to tell us that same story, right? Like it is on this mRNA here. So if we can get that breakout, say up and over this 420 area, right? Nice. We have a chance to hit that 433. This thing moves big and it can move fast. So I'm sizing down on any place here, right? Our next level is $13 away, right? So we might have to take a big stop loss. We might need to do all sorts of things. Right, so size down, be appropriate. You know, don't get, just don't let your position sizing be what shakes you out of this trade, right? If you get in, so that's gonna be really important for this play, and I'm gonna be watching that on mRNA. Hopefully the options are reasonably priced. I might even look to play these like a week out and almost consider like starting this as a swing. For like 2 weeks out, so play this end of next week, and kind of play this as a swing and maybe like roll contracts every couple days. I think this maybe has some potential if the market kind of gets back up and we continue to see more comments about booster shots and third vaccines and all that sort of stuff, that we could get that nice follow through and kind of continuation up above that 433. Right, this Fastly FSLY. Looks like a really nice inside bar bull flag here, right? So got that earnings sell-off. Strong earnings, right, but still dumped. Sometimes they like to do that, right, just screw with you. But since then, we've recovered a little bit, right? So we're getting a bit of a bull flag here. Nice breakout. Not necessarily the strongest candles. You know, you'd like to see that these are a bit more fuller body. But nice little period of inside bar consolidation. So we get this breakout over, say, this 48.18, 48.20, right? I think we have that chance to get towards that $50 area. You can maybe look to play breakdowns under this like 45.65 area, give or take, down towards that 44, maybe 44.70. But I'd rather just not fight this bull flag for now. Some people like this thing can get kind of wild sometimes. We can get that big volume day. So I'd be watching. I just want to be watching the volume on this pretty closely, right? I need to see those clues that it's increasing, that it's building up, that it's really gaining momentum. Otherwise, it's going to be hard pressed. Just like this mRNA, I wouldn't mind waiting for that full body candle before it's ready. So we'll see, right? I think it has potential. I love this bull flag. I love this kind of formalized consolidation now. So let's see if we can get that breakout up and over this 48.20. Right, Chewy. Kind of reminds me of Zoom a little bit, right? Where you had a big sell-off post earnings and now maybe looking for some of that continuation move. I know this is a bit of a darling stock, right? Some of the meme guys love it a lot. Look, this is a ton of weakness after a real bad earnings, right? So let's see if we can get that breakdown under, say, that 76.30, right, for those continuation moves down, right? That has room, I think, down towards that 75, and then if we're really able to break down through there, we've got room towards that 73.70, right, 72.30, and then maybe even down towards that $64 mark if we're looking as a potential swing. So I think there's a little bit of potential here this morning in this Chewy. We'll see how this thing comes together. All right, DraftKings. This might be ready for another stab here going into NFL season, right? Really great period of consolidation here, great little supply zone, right? Now you're getting an ascending wedge pattern into an area of kind of limited resistance. So we're looking for moves up and over, say, this 6180, right? To target that, say, 6250, 63, 6370, right? Love this low volume pullback inside bar on decreasing volume, right? So failed breakout, but decreasing volume. So let's see if people can load up and get us back up and over this 6180. Right, Pfizer. Give me maybe a sympathy play to Moderna if things are cheaper, right? Maybe this could be a different way of playing it, right? But it looks like it could be a really nice reversal, right? Low vol pullback. So I'd like to see a breakout up and over this 4720 area for a move towards that 4750, then up towards that 4820. I think there's a lot of potential here. If we can get that kind of continuation follow through. Probably be playing this with like the 50 calls targeting early next week. I think that could have some potential. Okay, DocU, right? This is a nice post-earnings continuation move, right? We had a couple, this is a big explosion, right, post-earnings. So if we get that continuation breakthrough through this 315, we're at all-time highs, so we're not in a rush to get into this, right? We're not in a rush to chase this first entry. If it looks strong, we're going to take it, obviously, but we need to make sure that it's a kind of the right play and looks good for us. I think we have a lot of potential here, right? But we need to make sure that those option volumes can be right. Like if this volume is like this, right, we get a day where it's even half of this. Okay, that option volume is going to be where we want it to be, but we're going to be watching out for it. Make sure that, say, we have 1K contracts traded, not open option volume, but 1K traded, and then hopefully we can kind of get in what we're looking for. Right, SE, this looks like it could be a really fun continuation move here. Right, what a breakout! This thing's a beast. Keeps ripping and roaring up towards 357.30 now. Right, really big volume. Let's see if we can get this breakout continuation. Right, DTR bullish engulfing candle. So bullish engulfing on volume, bullish engulfing candle. No top wick, right? This is as full body as it gets. So what we want to see now here is it's gapping up and over. We want to see it hold and kind of sustain this move, right? So give me a full body candle with a good size volume, right? And then we can get a little bit of joy. So I think there's a lot of potential here. If this thing can hold, maybe might be a good swing as well. Right, BA might be giving us a little bit of weakness to the downside here, right, on this ascending wedge breakdown. Moves under this 214.75 are going to give us kind of that continuation move, right, down towards that 211, 212, 210 zone. You're kind of finding like a bit of resistance there every dollar. So just be a little bit careful into there and maybe don't get too greedy, right, trying to get this thing to run down towards that like 205. I think BA is probably going to continue to be hampered or kind of like pushed by like that Delta fears, right? More continued COVID isolation. I don't know what they're going to do, these vaccine passports, all this sort of stuff, right? So we'll see how this comes together, but maybe there's some potential here. Can only be careful with this though, right? If the market's not moving, okay, maybe I'll take it if it's like market's choppy. But if the market's like ripping up, I don't know if I want to play BA up, or sorry, play BA down if the market's like really ripping up. I know it could be like a sneaky rotation, but I feel like that's a little bit of a bad habit to get into and something I want to avoid for now. And then last but not least is this Palantir. Right, Palantir still kind of reminds me of this Tesla, whereas a lot of kind of those wicks inside here. Right, so we can give us that breakout up and over. We've got that chance. Looking for moves kind of above this $27 mark. Right, and then we have a chance to go towards that $27.50, right, $29 area, and then kind of start really going. Again, right, this is because this looks so much like Tesla, right? We can kind of look at this a couple ways, right? So we can watch Palantir, we can be watching Tesla, but I think maybe the way to look at this is to watch ARK, right? So ARK is going to have kind of a combination of these two, right? It's a really similar looking type setup.
Generally, just the option volume here isn't great, so that's why I like avoiding it. But if ARC's going to give us strength, right, then we should be able to find plays in Palantir and in Tesla, right? So I think this is the proxy to watch. Yeah, Jonathan, let's check out that TSM. So really nice breakout there on Friday. Okay, so it looks like this is kind of your supply zone here, right? It's not perfect, but I would say you could still get rejected at this 125 area. So I'd be a little bit, right, I think it's a little bit patient. Like you have to be a little bit patient. If you want to play breakouts, good. If we keep getting that increasing volume today, then I don't think that 125.70 is going to hold, right? And you got a chance for that 127, right, 130 areas, and then maybe even that like 132. Because this is a pretty nice supply zone here, right? 1 point, 2 point, 3 points, right? Where it's kind of reloaded. So now let's see if we can get that breakout up and over, right? So increasing volume, which I love on Friday, right? Engulfing on volume. And if you can get that move over, say this like 124.50, you can have room up to this 125.90, whatever it is, or 125.70, right? But I think if you're going to look for kind of swing plays or kind of continuations, I want to be waiting for that 125 to hold at least. But I think there's a decent amount of room up towards that area. So it's a good eye. I think this is a decent looking setup. This will likely fall if we get that continued increasing volume. So that's it, guys. Unless you guys have any sort of last chart recommendations or charts you want to go over, that's going to be it for this morning recap. For those who want to trade with me and trade all these setups live and kind of go through this commentary kind of during market hours, right? You can start your free trial at www.dtrtrading.com, right? Trade with us for a week, see what it's like, and then decide if you want to join us full time. Otherwise, guys, best of luck out there and happy hunting. Hope to see you guys all tomorrow as well. All right, everyone. Have a good morning. Peace.